All right, we are live. Tom Anderson is here. Shockingly, before Judas Fly Chai, who's usually here first. It is another Monday night chill stream. It is Monday, January, 31st of 2022. So we got some e-drama. We got a whole bunch of interesting stuff. But the e-drama, I just kind of figured out last night. A lot of you guys know I go on Norvin streams every now and then, and I just kick it with him and stuff. And I do it mostly because it's fun, because I can largely say what I want to say, and it keeps me awake on the road. And Norvin sends links every now and then, right? So he has Bateman on all the time, and Bateman's an annoying cunt, right? For a Fed, he's especially fucking annoying, and so. He's had Bateman on a lot lately, and I'm just like, whatever, I don't want to fucking go near there. And so one time, a couple of weeks ago, Bateman's like, "Oh, I'm going to launch a new channel, blah blah blah." I was like, "I don't give a fuck what you're going to fucking do." He says, "Oh, you should come on, blah 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 blah." I said, "I ain't fucking going on your fucking show." So last night, I got home a little early from where did I come from? Can't remember. Baltimore? I think it was Baltimore. Yeah, Baltimore. Saturday night, Baltimore. No, Sunday night was where the hell did no? Wait a minute. Sunday was where did I go? I didn't go anywhere too far. I don't fucking remember. I drove too many places. Anyway, so Norvin sends me a DM, right, with a link. I thought it was his show. He's on the show. He's in the middle of the screen. It's his show. Who's there? Of course, Dickwad Patrick Bateman, the junkie from Staten Island. He used to trade fucking sex for drugs in the Stapleton projects. And so on and on and on. And I'm like, I come home. I was like cooking, right? What else am I going to fucking do? It's Sunday night. I'm home early. I made a dish called Giovezzi, which is like a beef stew with and tomato sauce with orzo and stuff. So I'm making that. And I'm having some drinks, of course, right? I'm not going anywhere. I'm not driving anywhere anymore. So I'm just home. I was like, yeah, fuck it. I'll go on. And I'll chill for a while because I'm waiting for food to cook. I'm going back and forth. This is a dish that takes a long time. And so I'm on the show, and it's fucking Bateman's there and some other people. I'm like, fucking Bateman. And at one point, what is it? Norvin sends me a DM. He's like, start a fight with somebody. I'm like, what the fuck? So I was like, whatever, I'll start a fight with Bateman. You know what I mean? I've only beaten him 37,000 times before. So Bateman's fucking losing his shit. And I keep getting, my mic gets cut off, right? And I get kicked off the stream. I get pushed backstage again and again and again. I'm like, Norvin, what the fuck are you doing to me? You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't understand what's going on. But I'm not on Norvin's show. I'm on Bateman's show. So Bateman got Norvin to send me the link without making it clear that it was his link. So Norvin works for the feds. Norvin has joined up with that fucking turn somebody in for six figures program that they got going on. And listen, nobody's better than their incentives. You know what I mean? That's the reality. Norvin's health is fucked up. He can't get a job. I'm sure he wants stuff. I think his mom is like a low-level civil servant in California, probably looking to try and make a better life, a better retirement. So he's going to feed you guys to the FBI, because that's that. And I tweeted this. I put it out on Gab. Of course, I blocked both of them. But on the stream, who else comes on the stream with Bateman? Well, look, it's Brittany from Politically Provoked. You know what I mean? She comes on, and this one and that one, and it's the whole fucking, it's the entire federal fucking circus. They're like the entire federal domestic terror fucking team is on one fucking stream. You know what I mean? And I'm like, and this was like the fourth time or something that Bateman kicks me. But I'm, like I said, I'm cooking. I'm like on the stream. I'm walking out of the room. I'm back and forth over by the stove, and I'm drinking. And then I finally realized, I'm not on fucking Norvin's show. I'm on fucking Bateman's show. And that's, I got upset, and I'm like, fuck you, you weak ass fucking bitch. And some words with Norvin. He's like, oh, thanks for coming on. I got screenshots of this shit. He's like, thanks for coming on. It's Bateman's show. It's called The Killing Fields. Yeah, fuck you. You know what I mean? All you got is 13-year-old boys who think Adolf Hitler was the good guy in World War II. They never even been, you never balled up your fist and punched somebody in the nose, and you're dumb enough to think that there's good guys in war. Fucking retards. And foreigners who the FBI can't arrest. But they keep pumping this shit, pumping. The ADL wants terror arrests, wants white people terror arrests, and somebody's got to provide them. So anyway, I'm done with them. See ya. And you can go listen to their shitty fucking content anytime you want. So that's that. Yeah. So so that's the e-drama. That's the e-drama portion. Also, it's funny. Once I went off on like Facebook, all these platforms, because they listen. They follow. One, I'm flattered that they even want me. Like, it makes me feel like, now I'm like a super secret agent guy that the feds are out to get me, right? It makes me seem like a dramatic, interesting, much more interesting person than I really am. And, but I was on Facebook. I was like, fuck these feds, these fucking cocksuckers, rah, 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 rah. You're never going to fucking get me. I fucking beat you. And so I do all that. And then there's a YouTube channel, that kid, Stephen J. James, English kid. I got clips by him a few times back in the day. And so I'm still subscribed to his channel. And now I try to comment on his videos, but all my comments disappear. Like, you go to the video and it says 5 comments, but it only shows 2. My 3 comments just vanish. You know what I mean? So they follow you across platforms, and I called out their little gay fucking op. And all of a sudden I can't comment on YouTube anymore. Oh, fucking well, like I fucking give it. You lose and I fucking win, right? Anderson, if you can't figure out, you're just fucking retarded. You're just retarded. You are retarded, and I mean that sincerely. You know what I mean? If you're too fucking stupid to figure that out, you're too stupid to fucking listen. But these guys want to listen. Fed, when we were kids, there was that rhyme, run as fast as you can. You can't catch me in the gingerbread man. You know what I mean? And that was like a rhyme you learned as a child. You know what I mean? So listen, I just updated it. Fed as hard as you can. You can't arrest me. You know what I mean? So get fucked. So that's that. That's the e-drama portion of the show. And listen, politically provoked, that shit is that there's the Jewish Britney, then there's the not Jewish Britney, who's the trad girl, who's of course she's really, that hot avatar that you see in the corner, like she's some hot brunette with glasses or whatever the fuck she wears. You know what I mean? And you're all just fucking dumb chumps. You simp for these fucking people nonstop. And simping ain't easy, but it's probably even harder when you're simping for Moloch. You know what I mean? Because that's what you're doing. That's 100% what you're doing, and I don't fucking care. In the meantime, there's really big shit has been going on. Maybe the biggest political event of my lifetime. People watch the show and they talk all kinds of shit about all kinds of shit. But what am I going to do here? I got to start. I got to start by showing you that there are limits to power, right? Here's even though you may be in the protected class, there's things you can't fucking do. Things you're not allowed to do. And that one thing is fuck with their money, right? You are not allowed to fuck with their money. Okay, so where's the screen share going to come up? Like any day now? Sooner or later, eventually. Right? Come on. There we go. Make it the whole screen. Who is that gorgeous lady? Who is that? Her name is, what is her name? Carolyn Mosby. She's the Baltimore district attorney. Okay. She has been arrested and indicted for filing some fraudulent COVID paperwork. She applied for COVID relief funds. She faces up to 30 years in prison and $1 million in fines each for filing false mortgage applications with up to 5 years of perjury for each charge as well. The perjury charges stem from Mosby's application for pandemic relief money in May and December of 2020, when the attorney filed for federal relief dollars, even though she had not experienced any of the enumerated financial hardships she claimed to have experienced, according to court documents. Mosby was earning more than $247,000 annually at the time of both filings, but collected more than $9,000 in biweekly installments from the relief money. The state's attorney was also indicted for filing false mortgage applications when she purchased 2 vacation homes in Florida. In January and February of 2021, Mosby bought a $428,000 condo in Long Beach, but did not disclose, as is required by mortgage applications, that she owed the IRS more than $45,000. Mosby was indicted on another count for similar reasons when she purchased another vacation home in Kissimmee, Florida in July and September of 2020. Mosby was first elected to the state's attorney general's office in 2014 and was reelected in 2018. She garnered national attention in 2015 when she charged 6 officers in connection with the death of Freddie Gray, who died in Baltimore Police Department custody. So you can be the right color, the right gender, the right communistic politics. You could be doing, the work that the ADL needs done, right? Legally. But you went and fucked with the money. You cannot fuck with federal money. And they don't care who you are. Hey, June, how's it going? Welcome to the show. They don't care who you are or what color you are not allowed to fuck with federal money. Okay? You are not allowed to fuck with federal money. So bye-bye, Carolyn Mosby. Goodbye. Finished. You have no protection. She could probably do anything. And you know what? This chick, she could be the next Supreme Court justice if she didn't fuck it up. They would have picked her to be the Supreme Court justice. Chief Justice Ladisha, which I hope to God, unironically, that the Biden administration follows through on their promise to find a black female for the fucking Supreme Court. That unironically, I would fucking love this. This will be the best fucking thing for freedom of association ever. That the Supreme Court has to fucking live with these fucking monsters the way the rest of us do. You know what I mean? Absolutely. That they're forced into the fucking chamber with her. She's like, "Oh, you fucking racist. Where's my black and miles? Where's my black and miles? Listen, you fucking snow possum, motherfucker. Don't be fucking racist." You know, this spokesperson will come out and say, Chief Justice Ladisha has a statement regarding this important constitutional legal question, in which she says, and I quote, "I ain't got time for that." So it's going to be great. And what's the name? Amy Coney Barrett, the one with the booty, the MILF with the booty that adopted the 2 black kids. That's going to be the battles between whoever, Chief Justice Ladisha and Barrett are going to be fucking legendary. This is going to be crazy good. It's going to be crazy good in the long run, not in the short run, but in the long run. Tom Anderson, yeah, that's what do you think they smoke? Black and Milds. Black and Mild is the number 1 cigar amongst the African American community, both males and females. So why can't I get Popeye's chicken delivered to during oral arguments? I don't know. You know what I mean? And so they find some black female justice who has feet like a fucking rhinoceros and bunions. Like my bunions be hurting. I can't write the majority opinion when my bunions are hurting. Somebody else do the writing for me. So it's going to be great. It's going to be fucking awesome. I look forward to it. I really, really look forward to it because it's going to force those people to reconsider a lot of things. When someone like that is forced on them year after year after year after year after year, remember, a lot of these people are young. Now, there's a little bit of pushback. There's a little bit of pushback because when Breyer retires, there's only going to be one full-blooded Jew on the court. All the rest are Mishlings. And so there's already a couple of stories with that they're pushing back against this, that the people who shape the narratives behind the scenes, they want another tribe member on the court. They have to pack the court with tribe members, you know what I mean? If they can, which they really can't, right? And Breyer drops out and they get another Mishling, you know, they don't trust the Mishlings nearly as much as you do. Like a bunch of you people who really think that every time a sparrow gets pushed off a fucking branch, a Jew did it. Like you see a Mishling and a full blood is the same thing, but for the bosses in charge, if you know you ain't 100%, you ain't 100%. So let's see what happens there, but it's going to be good. It's going to be really, really fucking good. It's going to be ridiculously good. And the Second Amendment cases are through. We're going to get that opinion in a couple months, so they won't be able to fuck that up. But things are about to get super spicy. Now, for the biggest deal, well, you know, by the way, tonight's episode is brought to you by Grape Drink, the original grape drink. I'm trying to go a little easier on my liver. Plus, you know, the thing with Norvin and whatever and Bateman, you know, I didn't really have that much ouzo left, so I was like, fuck it. I'll buy something lighter. And to be honest, I didn't expect to find this at the liquor store I went to, but it was like unexpected, you know, good luck. So I'll take it. I will take it. And I seem to remember liking this one. I had the white version of this with the 3 women on it. It's from Crete, from Crete. They say Crete. It's from Crete. Here, I'll show it again. Here, I'll give free advertisement to somebody that would probably not want to be associated with me in any way, shape, or form. Anyway, like I said, the original, the OG grape drink. You know what I mean? So, all right, the biggest thing to have happened, the biggest happening of all the happenings, essentially happened, right? So, and is this the one I want? I have like a million things. Here we go. Yeah, this is it. This was the people think I'm a flop sweat, paranoid, anti-Semitic person. Which is not true because I'm not paranoid and I'm not flop sweat at all. I am not a flop sweat person. But seriously, folks, this is the biggest news of your lifetime. You see me sit here and you're like, oh, he gets drunk and he's fucking ranting and raving about Bitcoin and this and that. And Bitcoin's going to destroy the Federal Reserve note. Blah, 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 blah. He's a fucking whack job. Well, it's very gratifying when world leaders say the same exact thing I did. You might have seen this story, right? And this relates directly to the Ukraine and Crimea and the fucking and Belarus and Kazakhstan, right? The U.S. is saying they're going to sanction Russia. And what did Putin say? Putin said flat out, Russia has certain advantages when it comes to Bitcoin and crypto mining. Russia is well equipped to start using Bitcoin instead of the SWIFT network and use Bitcoin to bypass U.S. financial restrictions. I revealed this course in 2019. That's what this guy's saying, right? But this is from the London UK Telegraph. below you see a picture of Putin. Says Russia plans to tackle U.S. sanctions with Bitcoin investment, says Kremlin economist. All right. The U.S. dollar runs the world. It is the global reserve currency, right? And they threaten you. They threaten to cut you off from it, right? And destroy you. Your country will be destroyed. If your banks cannot send dollars back and forth or your currency trade for dollars, you're completely screwed. Okay. So they threatened him and then he threatened them back, right? This is not some little president of El Salvador, a tiny little country with no nuclear weapons. This is Russia. They have 4,000 nuclear weapons, 4,000 missiles. You cannot fuck with them, right? You cannot fuck with them. What Vladimir Putin did was he fired a shot across the bow of the fucking greatest counterfeiting ring in the history of counterfeiting, right? And they're not happy. And they're really, really not fucking happy. This is the biggest deal in your life. There has been nothing in your life bigger than this. Because the US dollar holds everything together. It holds everything together. How big of a deal was it, right? Well, that's how let's see how people reacted. I mean, is Putin just some fucking crazy dude who drinks too much? Actually, he doesn't drink alcohol at all, right? Putin is I think he's like Trump. He doesn't drink alcohol. I believe that's one of the things they had in common. So what happens next? What happens next? The president goes, the Biden administration is preparing to release an executive action to regulate Bitcoin as a matter of national security. Isn't that amazing that Vladimir Putin and Joe Biden are saying the exact same thing that I say, right? All of a sudden, all the crazy shit that this guy in a one-bedroom apartment in New Jersey rants and raves about is coming out of the mouths of world leaders. Isn't that fucking amazing? And this is the next day. This is the very next day. The White House screams, okay, we're going to regulate Bitcoin. Yeah, good luck, Uncle Joe. Good luck with that. I don't really think you understand how this shit works. But let's see. What do we got here? Oh, no, that's the same one. That's the same one. I sent it to myself twice. No, this is it. Yeah, okay, right? And again, and the shock waves continue to reverberate. This is the thing, when you see those comic book movies, something really exciting happens right afterwards. Like, oh my God, this, big threat has been delivered. Now, the clash will occur. Well, we're at war. We are 100% at war. Bitcoin is at war with the Federal Reserve note, and they know it now, right? This is not a guess. This is not an exaggeration on my part. Okay. This isn't me reading anything into anything, right? Just in, Wall Street briefed by Biden team on possible Russia sanctions. Citibank, Bank of New York, JP Morgan are among the firms involved in the discussion. U.S. and allies hoping to prevent the Russian invasion of the Ukraine. So, Vladimir Putin's threatening to destroy the world economy because if Russia walks away from the dollar, it's a very, very big deal. It's a huge deal because you can't punish them. You can't punish them, right? They have nukes. They have nukes. You can't punish them. I've talked about this a few times before. Where's the one I want to show? here. I've mentioned this a bunch of times that in Rome, back in the days, let's do a little history lesson. Back in the days, the Roman Empire fell because the money turned to shit. Okay, that the Roman silver coins used to be 90% or more of silver, and then they went down to less than 5% silver in a 50-year period. And Twitter, thank God for Twitter, actually delivered a visual showing that exact thing. So here's the coins, right? Let me, hopefully that's big enough so everybody can see it. All right. From the top left to the bottom right. The top left is more than 90% silver, and then less silver and less silver. And it's the same image, the same man with the headband or whatever, but it just gets shittier and shittier. And even the artwork on the coin gets uglier and uglier as there is less and less silver in the money. As the money gets debased, the Roman Empire falls. The US dollar is being debased, has been debased since it's become the Federal Reserve note. Okay. And the United States is in a lot of trouble. And I try to tell you this. Okay. And the best way for you to protect yourself is to have Bitcoin. Okay. That is the best way to protect yourself. It happened to Rome, and it's happening to us the same way. It's not that people don't believe in this and that. People will believe whatever is convenient to believe as long as the money works. And if the money doesn't work anymore, they ain't going to believe shit. Nobody's getting out of bed and doing anything if the money doesn't work anymore. Right? That's it. That happened to Rome, and it's happening to America today. And I'm trying to warn people, to protect yourself. The people who control this country and the US dollar and the world are evil and insane, and they're fucking incompetent. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're going to run it into the ground. All counterfeiting schemes, all Ponzi schemes. You cannot taper a Ponzi scheme. It goes on and on until it explodes. And this is going to explode. This is 100% going to explode. And I don't know when it's going. But this was another fun one. This one I just to be a cheeky bastard. Just to be a cheeky bastard. When it comes to the Ukraine, southern Russia, who's wrong? Is it the fact that, in Russia, they hold their pinkies in the air, when they drink their vodka because they're sophisticated Russians. And 300 years ago, the Eastern Ukraine was something, Russia, blah, blah, blah. It was Russian before it was Ukrainian. Here's a history lesson, kids. Here is a history lesson, right? Can I move that up like that or no? Yeah. There we go. A silver kylix, which is a drinking vessel. Believe it or not, a drinking vessel. Holy crap. With the Greek god Helios leading a quadriga, which is a quartet of deer, I think it is. Or maybe it's horses. I don't know if they're horses. I guess they're horses. Found at the Panticapium. Panticapium. I don't know if that's Latin. I don't speak Latin. In the Crimea, a Greek colony from the 3rd century BC. Who really owns Crimea? Really? See, I think if we're going to make historical claims, you want to base you want to base the lines in the map on historical claims. Well, I got news for you, son. Greece just got really fucking big. Just got really big. So 300 years ago, blah, 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 blah. The Russians in Donbass, Ukraine, they're very sophisticated, right? Because when they drink their tea in the glass, they have the pinky in the air because they're sophisticated Russians. But the Ukrainians are monkey men who grip the glass like this, and they drink the tea the wrong way. And that's why they sent the tanks, right? Nope. That ain't why they send the fucking tanks. They send the tanks over money, right? They send the tanks over money, okay? Ukraine mines Bitcoin. Belarus mines Bitcoin. Kazakhstan mines Bitcoin. All around Russia. And now Russia's going, hey, like I said, their opposition leader, the CIA funds him with, and his followers, with Bitcoin, the guy, Navalny or whatever his name was. And Russia's like, you know what? Hey, we could turn this around on you. We could flip this on you. You know what I mean? And if we walk away from the dollar, it's going to be a big fucking deal. So Washington loses its shit. Washington goes out of its fucking mind, right? So what did I show this? Yeah. Well, this is the same thing, but all these stories came over the weekend, right? This all comes over the weekend, and again, it's not about 300 years of Russian history and whether you have sour cream in your pancake or an apple sour cream and fucking cherries or whatever dumb shit you fucking think this is over. It has nothing to do with the fact that some people in that part of fucking Ukraine speak Russian and others don't. It doesn't make a fucking difference. You think Vladimir Putin gives a fucking shit when his head hits the pillow at night? He wonders about the poor Russian speakers on that side of the fucking river. Do you really believe that? Are you that much of a simp? Are you that much of a simp? Just then, U.S. officials vow to unleash searing economic measures if Russia invades Ukraine, including sanctions on its largest banks and financial institutions that could cause severe inflation, a stock market crash, or other forms of financial panic. They fight with money, right? It's two groups of Jews. It's the Jews in Moscow and St. Petersburg versus the Jews in New York and Washington, D.C. That's what this fight is about. Jonathan Pohl, welcome to the show. You missed the E-drama portion. Which was the beginning, the first 30 minutes. Now we're into the deeply serious, important geopolitical discussions with pictures of drinking cups from 300 BC and Twitter screenshots right? We saw that one already. I showed that one already. Okay, so let's go with, let's just real quickly. You need to understand that when I tell you Bitcoin is changing the world everywhere, 24/7, 365, you say, oh, no, it isn't. Oh, yes, it is. Oh, yes, it is. This place is in Russia, the Commonwealth of Independent States. Breaking. Belarus. I don't know how you say it. Belarus says no restrictive changes to Bitcoin or mining rules are planned. This was from January 25th, just a few days ago. All around Russia, they are all mining Bitcoin. Bitcoin is all around Russia, and they got to try to find a way to deal with that. Now let's skip that one. Okay, so let's talk about things that they could possibly do. This guy's got a big Twitter account, Battle Beagle. He's like, I used to like him because he does these like dog pictures of beagles, and Coulter follows him. It's a big account. But he went way too, he went in so hard on COVID, like it was a real thing, everyone in the world was going to fucking die. And of course, he's like, pretends to be Mr. Data Driven. He's not data driven. And as the COVID thing dragged on, people called him out, and he just, of course, like every mighty intellectual hero on social media, they just block you and pretend it didn't happen. So this was from when? January 25th of this year. Remember what they did to Muammar Gaddafi? And he's got a screenshot of a Bloomberg news snippet that the IMF's, the International Monetary Fund's board, urged El Salvador to strip Bitcoin of its status as legal tender in the country, citing risks to financial stability, financial integrity, and consumer protection. Because when you think of stability, integrity, and protection, you think of the International Monetary Fund, don't you? I know that's the first thing that springs to my mind. Yeah, not really. Not really. So, talking about Muammar Gaddafi. And so Beagle does a little bit of research. And here we go. Comes up with this. Apparently, stop sharing that. Oh, no, that was it. That's the one. Womp, womp. I fucked it up. Going too fast. It's so excited. It's so exciting having a huge audience like I do. What do I got? Like 49. I think 49 is actually too many people. And I'm sure some of you are bots anyway. So some declassified Hillary Clinton emails newly declassified Hillary Clinton emails imply that Muammar Gaddafi's vast gold reserves and plans for a pan-African currency were the motives behind the U.S. intervention in Libya in 2011. I don't know how well you can see it, but underneath it says Gaddafi's government holds 143 tons of gold. This gold was intended to be used to establish a pan-African currency based on the Libyan golden dinar. So anyway, this Beagle guy, whoever feeds him his stuff, fed him that, right? So if you challenge the US dollar, they're going to kill you, right? They did it to Saddam Hussein. They did it to Gaddafi. And now Battle Beagle, because you don't understand Bitcoin, thinks they're going to kill the president of El Salvador because he made Bitcoin legal tender. By the way, Bitcoin's been legal tender in Japan since 2017. But here's a fun fact, and they could probably kill that guy. El Salvador is a small country, 6 million people. They used to have 6,000 murders a year. Since this guy came in, he knocked the murder rate down to like 1,500 or 1,600. So the crime has gotten a lot better. But it's going to be tough for the CIA to find a rebel group. You're just going to have to send somebody down there to fucking shoot him. But you could shoot him. But like when they burned the Bitcoin ATM in fucking El Salvador, when you burn the ATM, you're just burning up a metal box with paper currency in it. There's no Bitcoin in that metal box. Bitcoin is on the internet, right? You can't destroy it. So listen, you're going to kill the president of El Salvador? Do you think Belarus is going to stop mining Bitcoin? Is Ukraine going to stop mining Bitcoin? Russia has threatened the Federal Reserve with saying, we're going to call your fucking bluff. We're going to walk away from this fucking game. And they're going out of their fucking minds. This is the most significant fucking political act in your fucking life. Nothing is more important. You need to grasp how fucking enormous this is. Russia has challenged US dollar hegemony openly, publicly, and they're losing their fucking shit. What are they going to do about it? They don't know what the fuck to do about it. They're not ready. We're going to fucking win. Bitcoiners are going to win. If you're not a Bitcoiner, you're going to, whatever, you're a casualty. You're collateral fucking damage. Okay. You can hop in the lap of Zog and stay there and hope that you stay warm and safe. Or you could join the winning team. And here's a fun fact. Fun fact, you will join the winning team. I'm just urging you to do it now when it's advantageous to you. I'm just urging you to do it now, and it's advantageous to you. But you will be forced. When the green pieces of paper you have are worthless garbage and won't buy anything anymore, then you'll see. But it'll be so late, and you're going to remember streams like this. And I don't want to be you. Like, I don't want to be in your head. You know what I mean? When you go, Jesus Christ, I was told 1,000 fucking times, flat out in plain English. You know, I don't want to be you. June, a golden dinar sounds like a beautiful thing. Yeah, I don't know what the dinar looks like, but it sounds good. Actually, I think the first gold coins, really, supposedly the first gold coins, as I remember, as the Greeks tell it, the first, like Croesus of Lydia, which is Libya, in 638 BC was the first to coin, make gold coins, and he used them for money. I think that was that's the, if I recall that correctly. So interestingly, that history tried to repeat, except Croesus of Lydia was, didn't have the CIA to contend with. So I think things worked out better for him. But this pissed me off. Although I don't know, it's not unsurprising, right? This is who runs our government. When I say they're evil and insane, I'm not making it up. I'm not making it up. Now, I grabbed a screenshot. I don't know how accurate this is because I don't know a whole lot of details about Leon Trotsky's life, other than he caught a pickaxe in the back of the head in Mexico after leaving Russia. But get a little closer with this. This woman is the great granddaughter of Leon Trotsky, and she is the director of the National Institute on Drug Abuse. So you got to imagine, with Trotsky's granddaughter in charge of the opioid epidemic, if he really had a granddaughter, and if that's her, you can see that this is not going to end well, right? These are the people that are controlling everything. And these are the people we're going to destroy, right? Bitcoin is going to legally and peacefully and legally and peacefully destroy the Federal Reserve note. And all these people will be shit out of luck. You know what I mean? You're going to have to get a real job or run back to Tel Aviv because it's not going to be good for you here, right? They exist. Their wealth exists because of counterfeit, right? Stockbrokers and all these investors and just fiat currency in and of itself. They create value from nothing. They provide no services, nor do they produce any goods, but they supposedly have money, and they use that money to buy real things, right? They buy factories and railroads and shipping companies and gold mines and whatever. So if Trotsky's granddaughter, again, I don't even know if he had kids, but I guess he did, is running the NIH opioid program, it's unsurprising, right? That things are the way they are. And I've said it before, and I'm not trying to be blackpilling to people. I'm not trying to, I'm not projecting my own personal failures onto the world. Things are fucked up, and they're going to get more fucked up. And you need to try and prepare for that. You need to try to prepare for that. You know what I mean? And again, depending on, I don't know who I'm talking to all the time, right? And what your circumstances are. But I strongly advise you, stop simping, stop waiting for your hero to come and rescue you. No hero's coming to rescue you. You have to rescue yourself. Okay? And ask yourself, like, I realize, like, people, you don't have the imagination. You lack imagination when it comes to money because all you've ever known is the US dollar. And the US dollar is king, right? Always, from the 50s when we rebuilt fucking Europe and when the French shopkeepers would see American tourists coming, they were like, oh, yes, yes, yes. You know what I mean? And all the European waiters who were getting paid by the hour that Americans would tip on top of the bill, and they were like, oh, look at these dumb suckers throwing away money, right? That's the environment you grew up in. It's always been that way, as far as you know. And you cannot imagine it being any way other than that. You cannot imagine a world where nothing is priced, where everything is priced in dollars, right? That's the world you live in. You can't imagine it ever changing. And I'm telling you, it's going to change, because it wasn't always that way. It wasn't always that way, and it will not always be that way. And things are going to change fast when they do. And I don't know exactly what the date's going to be. No one's going to call that out. But it's coming. And, for like, I don't know, for like $250, you could have like 1 million Satoshis. You could become a Satoshi millionaire. Like for $250, $300. It would be worth getting some and hanging on to it just in case. Just in case. If you're like me, like I said, I showed you last show, I smashed up the buy button for about 4.5 million sats. And that's it. I just, as much as I can, because I know how this is going to go. I don't know when it's going to go this way, but I know how it's got to go. There's no other way out of this. You know what I mean? And constantly looking back at politics from 100 years ago, or 150 or 300 years ago, expecting that any of that's going to solve any problems coming up, you are simping for an ideology or a worldview that is going to disrespect you far worse than anything I've ever said on this fucking channel. I yell at this audience and I curse and I say stupid shit, and people are like, he fucking sucks. When he yelled at me, he called me a dummy. Yeah, I did. You want your ass kissed? Go, I don't know, go to fucking, go to Patrick Bateman's channel, The Killing Fields, and they'll tell you how great you are as they fucking get you to sign up to drive a truck bomb into a fucking synagogue. And as soon as you fucking agree to that, you know what I mean? Norvin gets his fucking check and the FBI kicks in your fucking door. So you want that? See ya. I'm gonna tell you to the best of my ability how things are gonna go. And you have to consider, like, why does God love me so much that the crazy nonsense that I rave about every fucking week just happens to come out of Vladimir Putin's mouth? It just happens to come out of fucking Joe Biden's mouth. What, like, how much does God hate you that all the shit you talk about never happens, but the shit I talk about, bing, fucking 2 weeks later, there it is on the fucking internet. You know what I mean? You gotta wonder how the fucking divine thumb on the fucking scale tilted it one way or the other. You're gonna have to wonder why that is. You know what I mean? When you're philosophizing, when you're out there philosophizing on how badly you fucked up, well, part of it is nothing you think is gonna happen happens. And all the crazy shit that I scream about as I sit in my 1-bedroom apartment and drink too much alcohol just happens to fucking come true. And I'm not joking when I tell you that calling out this fucking Ponzi scheme that is the US dollar is the biggest fucking thing to ever happen. Nothing will affect the world more than this. It hasn't collapsed yet, but it's going to collapse. It's going to collapse. And how these two groups of small hats fight this out, the capitalist Jews in America versus the communist Jews, it isn't that anymore. Different, however they sort it out, right? They're not going to kill each other. They don't care if a bunch of goy die. Nobody gives a fuck. But the ones in Russia don't want to be destroyed. And, this is where the den of thieves turns on itself. You know what I mean? And this is a very, very, very exciting time. It is way more exciting than you think. Way more exciting than you think. There is, like I said, there's a global war going on right now between Bitcoin and the US dollar, right? and it's everywhere all the time. And they have no response to this. If they kill the president of El Salvador, so what? Right? Here's another news item, right? Just the other day, right? Breaking: a bill was introduced in Arizona to make Bitcoin legal tender in the state. Why not? It's legal to own Bitcoin in America. Bitcoin is considered property by the IRS. And since one Bitcoin is made up of 100 million pieces or 100 million Satoshis, if you want to break off a little piece of your property and trade it for some goods or services, why shouldn't that be legal? Now, is this bill going to go through? Is it going to become law? I don't know. But Senator Wendy Rogers introduced a bill to make Bitcoin a lawful currency in the U.S. state of Arizona. It is a war of all against all. Where's our guy? Where's my guy? Let's see if he's really our guy. I have no idea who this dude is, but this is the stuff that there's big pieces, big things moving. It's like icebergs moving in the ocean. They move slowly, and there isn't a whole lot of drama, but there's enormous power behind what's happening. There is enormous power. Okay. I believe it is time to end the Federal Reserve. This is a candidate for the Ohio Senate, right? Talking about Bitcoin. You have running for the Senate in the United States talking about ending the Federal Reserve. Is he a legit guy? Is he just, is it, who knows? You know what I mean? Is this guy put out there so that you donate all your Bitcoin to him and, it vanishes into nowhere? I don't know. But the fact that he's publicly said this, there's a candidate that can say something like this. This is way bigger than anything that's going on. And it's like I said, Bitcoin is 24/7, 365 all around the world. Okay. The US dollar is not. The Wall Street, the bond market, even the commodities market, they're Monday to Friday, you know what I mean? 9 o'clock to 4:30, with an hour break for lunch. Yeah, Wall Street has a little pre-market trading and some post-market trading, but it's minimal. You know what I mean? That's just for the insiders to make even more money. Huge things are happening. Huge things are happening. I suggest you get on the winning side. Like I said, I just suggest you do it early. Jonathan Pohl, send me a Bitcoin. You can buy Bitcoin yourself in Arizona. Or we don't live in Arizona. We live in New Mexico. You can buy it in New Mexico. Find the Bitcoin ATM. If you can tip the baristas at Starbucks $20 for Christmas, you can pick up $25 worth of Bitcoin just as easy. Just as easy. One full Bitcoin is going to be generational wealth soon. Really generational wealth. It's just it's a relatively short amount of time until the rich people figure out that the dollar's going down, that everything they have is being taxed and taken away from them, and they're going to want to preserve their wealth, right? And there's a lot more wealth than they say is out there. Most people hide their money. I knew guys from the taxi business. They were making like $8 million a year, reporting like $75,000 a year to the IRS. How many people do that? A lot. Cash businesses, restaurants, all kinds of things. There's enormous money out there. And these are the little teeny tiny people that I saw in New York. And trust me, people in Chicago, Philly, everywhere else do that, all kinds. There's so much more money out there. And when it all decides to get into Bitcoin at once, that's when shit's going to get super interesting. And I would think that would happen in the next 5 years. I would think that would happen definitely in the next 5 years. But everybody that calls this timeline calls it wrong. Everybody that calls out the timeline has called it entirely wrong. So I'm not going to put a timeline on it. I'm just going to show you as each block ticks by, how more and more people who are not irrational lunatics, right, drinking too much in an apartment in New Jersey, but they're sober, important historical figures, who lead countries, just happen to be talking the same thing that I'm talking. That's you got to admit, that's quite the coincidence, Goy. It's quite the fucking coincidence. All right. What else? A little more e-drama. What's his name? Bob Paxton, who's it's too late for him. He's gone to sleep. But Paxton shows up at this channel a lot, and I was DMing with somebody about him. He's irrational sometimes, and somebody told me, and I guess you do this, the mentally ill people who fucking wander around these fucking circles, that if Bob Paxton's in the chat, he's not there right now, but sometimes he seems to respond to shit I don't say. And I'm like looking at the chat, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I'm not even talking about that. But he could be watching 2 live streams at once. I don't know how many of you do that, but a lot of people are mentally ill, right? So they got more computer and more bandwidth than I have. 2 fucking streams going at once, and they're in this chat and they're in that chat, and they get fucking conflated which chat they're responding to, or which brilliant, snarky remark they think they have. So if you're on whatever, God knows what kind of mental fucking psychiatric medications you're on, because you're secretly married to fucking Trotsky's granddaughter, you know what I mean? And the chemicals are bouncing around in your brain, and you're watching one live stream with this eye and one live stream with that eye, that would explain a lot of behavior. Like, I come on here and I kind of assume that a lot of the people in the chat are reasonable people, not complete whack jobs. But I have to remind myself that no, you're probably complete whack jobs. Tom Anderson in the chat, Paxton got a dozen monitors going at once. I wouldn't doubt it. At this point, I've kind of reached that philosophical point where I'll almost believe anything, and I will almost not believe anything. You know what I mean? I'm in that I'm so 100% committed to maybe that could be true. You know what I mean? I have to poke around it and check it out for myself. But if somebody tells me something, I'm like, no matter how crazy it sounds, I go, oh, maybe, I don't know, maybe it could be true. You know what I mean? And there are people other than myself with a different perspective that I occasionally bounce ideas off of. And they tell me things like it's super obvious. They're like, hey, dummy, maybe he's watching 2 live streams at once. And I'm like, oh, shit. It never even occurs to me. Like, the stuff I say, I'm sure doesn't occur to a lot of people, right? They're like, how does he come up with this stuff? To me, it's as plain as, the sun rising in the east. But for a lot of the people, are like, wow, what a cosmic puzzle putter together he is. But it's so different worldviews and different experiences can be valuable. But I understand selective attention. You know what I mean? I know the things I pay attention to exclude me from seeing other things. And that is an extremely humbling realization. That's an extremely humbling realization, right? And it's helpful in this sense. You have to focus on what's really important to you and accept the fact that you're going to miss a lot of stuff, right? And you're going to hopefully you don't miss anything that's going to fuck you up. You know what I mean? You're not going to be blindsided by something really negative. But I accept that there's a limited amount that I'm going to get clear and get right, and the rest of it's going to go past me. So that someone else with a different perspective and a different set of priorities can show me something that I missed. I appreciate that. You know what I mean? I'm appreciative of that, right? I'm not offended. I'm not embarrassed. You know what I mean? I realize that, again, they have different life experiences and a different worldview. And if they say something that's worthwhile, or they can point me to seeing something um, that's logical and clear, that I don't see because my focus is elsewhere, I appreciate that. I really do. You know, and you could say like the thing with Norvin. Why is Norvin always got OV? Why does he always have Bateman? And his excuse, and I thought it was a decent excuse, was, well, he wants to do a show, and OV and Bateman can do 4 hours. Like, they can just go for 4 fucking hours. Well, of course they can go for 4 hours, because one, it's their job, they're being paid, but two, they're demented pedophile junkies. You know what I mean? So, like, it's tough to do this for an hour, 2 fucking hours. Like, you can't keep saying, either I'm going to say the same shit over and over, or it's going to become just retarded. And I'm trying to avoid that. That's why I want to keep these things shorter. But I listened to Norvin go, well, you know what? He's like, there's a lot of stuff we can't say, right? When you're an adolescent, you start hanging out with your friends, there's a free speech experience of talking with your peers at some point in your life, whether it's your teenage years or it's college or whatever. I don't know. It's going to be different things for different people. But it's a fun and exciting time, right? And you get to hear and say stuff that you normally can't say around your family or whatever. And it's very heady. It's very, it's intoxicating. And then, listen, life happens. You have to have a job. You can't talk about this. Your wife doesn't want to hear that. Oh, and the shit, the kids are in the room. And that kind of goes away. So, and now, even now with the speech police, you can't say that. You misgendered somebody. You can't call someone a retard. You can't say the fucking small hats are a pedophile religion. You can't, you can't do that, right? You can't say that Muslims are fucking camel jockeys. You can't say that. That's outrageous. That's racist. That's sexist, and all the fun stuff goes away. So I thought, well, okay, so Norvin's like, he's going to open a channel and he's going to let people say stupid shit just to let them blow off steam, because it's part of it's a reaction to the super left-wing authoritarian speech codes that we have to live under. I said, whatever. I get what he's trying to do. At least that's how I rationalized it to myself. But, and I would go there because, listen, I could say all kinds of stupid shit. I could say whatever I want to say, but more and more, but the last few times I went on there, like, I couldn't say this and I couldn't say that. They don't want me to say this and they don't want me to say that. And I'm like, hey, wait a minute. If I can't relax and say whatever I want here, like, what is the point of me even coming around, right? And the less I was interested in doing that, the more solicitous Norvin became. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it's great to have you on. Come back anytime. Blah, 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 blah. Love having you on, like, and I'm like, okay, what, what's going on there, because, listen, you might find this strange and you might find this a little vain, but I actually know I'm funny. Believe it or not, outside of the internet, I go out into the real world and I make people laugh in the real world all the time. Been doing it for decades. You know what I mean? So I know mostly I'm funny. I can make fucking people laugh. I never ever met anyone. I was a perfect example, delivering an aircraft part to Teterboro, right? It's wrong address, wrong company, blah, 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 blah. So I'm on the phone. I'm not allowed to show any initiative. I have to wait and be told what step to take. You have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do this, you have to do that. And there's some girl on the other end of the phone. This was an American girl. It wasn't a Costa Rican. So she understands English. And she says, well, I've got 2 contact phone numbers for you. She said, one is, and it was like an Arabic name. And the other one is named Rusty, and she gives me Rusty's phone number, right? So you got an aircraft mechanic, an AV guy who's named Rusty, And so I'm on the phone. I was like, okay, give me Rusty's phone number. She gives me the phone number. I said, how is it people name their children Rusty? You know what I mean? Like, how come nobody names their kids Shiny? You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, Rusty as a nickname is a very common nickname, but no one has the nickname Shiny anywhere. Why not? That doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? You would think Shiny would be the better nickname, don't you think? You know what I mean? Rather than Rusty, but whatever. Because one guy's got obviously he's got orange hair. He's Rusty, and the other guy's bald. It's fucking easy peasy. Like why wouldn't you just do that? You know what I mean? But they don't. Nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to be known as Shiny. Everybody wants to be known as Rusty. And so I said that to the girl on the other end of the phone, and she's like, she's dying. Like she has no idea. Like nobody talks to her that way, and she's trying to get back into a little computer script, you know. And I just did that just to do. Like it's like nothing. Like you know what I mean? It doesn't cost me anything. It's just a dumb thought that ran through my head. You present it to people. It's a little bit of a shock, a little bit of a surprise. They're like, yeah, how come nobody's called Shiny? How everybody's called Rusty? And that's that. You know, like it's easy to do. It's easy to fucking do. You know, at least it's easy for me to do. So the fact that I go on other people's streams and then I'm not even allowed to like this stuff just happens. Like it occurs to me. You understand? I'm talking and then boom, the thing pops into my head and I say it and people laugh. You know, it's been that way for a long time. Once I understood how to do that as a little kid, I kept being able to do that. You know, so, but if you keep fucking with me, like if everybody keeps cutting me off, like again, if like you're Bateman or OV or one of these fucking people, they're constantly cutting you off, constantly with the crosstalk. It's like, I can't get into a rhythm. I can't get into a flow. I can't even be funny, even if I want to be. Like I'm trying, like I want to be, okay, let's be lighthearted. Let's fuck around with shit. Let's be, I don't know, absurd. And exaggerate things, and have a good time, right? Let's be free speechy. These pricks won't let me. And I'm like, and it occurred to me that, this would happen all the time. And I'm like, I don't want to go on Norvin's show anymore. Well, and once Norvin fed me by not explaining that the link was the Bateman's channel, you know what I mean? Once he fed me to that group of feds, I'm like, okay, cheers, motherfucker. Block. Bing, 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 bing. I said, yeah. I called him out as a fed and then fucking blocked him. And that's that. Jonathan Pohl, book writing books on top of books. Going through the final editing of my book's proofs. It comes out March 22nd. Spring Offensive. The Spring Offensive. Book sales. We are going to drive into the bookstores. We are going to smash through the enemy's defenses. We will get you. We're going to get you on the banned. Oh, you got to figure out how to get on the banned book list. That phony banned book list, like that book mouse, whatever. I didn't even like. I remember seeing that a long time ago. Like the cat, Adolf Hitler is a cat, and then the mice are Jews, something like that. I don't know what the fuck. It's a cartoon book. Like I've seen cats that look like Hitler. So. I totally get why you would write an entire book about that and make it part of a syllabus for public schools and then claim it was banned so everyone has to go out and buy it. But listen, I don't know. You know what I mean? That's we got to get you as sexify this. You have to take that Gen X, mystique. Right, you have to take as the last of the Gen Xers, Jonathan Pohl, as the last of the Mohicans. You could be the last of the Gen Xers. There has to be a mystique to every word that flows from your pen. I know you don't write with a pen, but it does make a difference. It's every word that flows from the pen is forbidden. Yeah, for June, the forbidden texts. Yeah, and get everyone crazy to buy it. Like that guy Salman Rushdie wrote, what did he write? The Satanic Verses, which was some kind of crappy novel in the 1980s that they made such a big deal out of. But this is what you need to do. You write the serious book. I'm not saying you're not going to write a serious book. You're going to write a serious book. But the selling of it, you got to have the sizzle. You know what I mean? People buy the sizzle, right? Not the steak. That's what they say. Tom Anderson, Last of the Mohicans, good movie. Yeah, it was a pretty good movie. With Daniel Day-Lewis before he became a complete whack job. I thought there was some. I thought the combat scenes were pretty good in it. I liked a lot of stuff about that film. Um, but yeah, so listen, the fact that there should be a place on the internet where you could say, fuck slavery and fuck the Holocaust, like you should be able to say that. You know what I mean? This is, after all, America. You know what I mean? And saying fuck slavery and fuck the Holocaust, that's just an everyday thing. You know what I mean? There's no reason why you can't say that. You shouldn't lose your job for saying that, especially when you're sitting at home chilling, talking with your magic internet friends about how Bitcoin's going to destroy the Federal Reserve note, and we're going to create an entirely new world that's not really communistical. It's not really democratic. It's consensus governance. It's an idea that's outside everyone's mind because you keep looking backwards for ideas when the ideas in the future are going to be very, very different. June in the chat. Magua was the best in the film. Oh, that was the bad guy who kidnapped the girl, right? Wasn't he the bad guy? Like he was the evil, like he was like the nationalist Indian guy, because he was like 100% pure Indian. And the other Indians are like, hey, I don't know, maybe these white people ain't so bad. Is that the one? I think that's what you're talking about, right? I don't know who that actor was. I can't remember. He looked good. He looked like a scary Indian dude that should be shot. You know. And probably a lot of them looked like him. But yeah, the British officers were considered, right? They were like noble guys. They were getting tortured and burned to death, and they were still like, upholding the honor of the British Empire with a tie to a fucking stake. June in the chat. Yes, played by an actor named Wes Studi. That's an odd name. Yeah, character actors like that, like, famous character actors. Some of them made tons and tons of money. You know what I mean? Because they were like, there used to be a guy that was in cowboy movies forever, a guy named Slim Pickens. He was like a fat dude from Texas. And every time Hollywood needed a fat dude from Texas to play like a cowboy hat wearing doofus, they put him in, and he played the same guy in like 110 films. But he always made money. Oh yeah, he was in Heat. Yeah, he was a cop, right? He was one of the cops in Heat. That's the thing with Hollywood. You got to get, like, these actors, they got to transition. There was some black dude who was in. You guys ever see the movie, the series The Shield? It was the first like a gritty reality series that was on HBO. It was called The Shield, and it had an actor named Michael Chiklis in it. And Michael Chiklis was like a pudgy, good guy type who had an NBC show that nobody watched, and then he shaved his head bald and he became an evil cop for The Shield, and he became like a huge cult star. Yeah, Tom Anderson's seen The Shield. It was a very good show. The beginning part was terrible. I don't know. I saw it on DVD years after it was over. The only thing is, in the first episode, they kill another cop. They would never shoot another cop. I knew a lot of cops who watched that show, and they said they liked that show a lot, but there's no way one cop would shoot another cop over bullshit like that. They would get rid of him a different way. They would never shoot. They would never commit murder just that casually. Not to a cop. To a scumbag, sure. I know guys who were cops that said, I know a guy was a cop in Coney Island in the 60s. And, since they arrest the same guys 27 times, they get a call that there's like, there's a body in the middle of the street. And they rolled up on this, and they knew who the guy was. He was a local scumbag. They arrested him like 20 fucking times. And the guy's laying in the middle of like Emmons Avenue, in Brooklyn, with a knife in his chest and bubbles coming out from around the knife. So like his lung is pierced, and he's got a sucking chest wound. And they they just walked up to him. Then they walked back in the car, waited till he died, and then they literally wrote it up as suicide. You know what I mean? So shit like that used to happen. Just shit like that does happen. It doesn't happen so much anymore. Body cams, but they would do stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, fuck, they know what this guy is. Like, fuck him. He's a skull. You know, it's like they made a huge beef out of that. You can't do it anymore today. But like if there was whatever, there's a murder and the lead detective would write NHI on the top of the paperwork, and he would leave the file for the next whoever was going to get the case, right? And NHI meant no humans involved, meaning there's no taxpayers. They're all just low lives. It's all just skells and fucking dindus. They would write NHI on the top of the paperwork, and what that meant to the guy who actually caught the case, you know what I mean? So he's got the case file. It means like, you know what? Make sure your dry cleaning is done. Take your wife shopping or whatever. Do whatever you need to do. If the case falls into your hand, let it fall into your hand, but don't make any effort, you know. Walton Goggins got a start on that show and went on to do Justified. Who was Walton Goggins? He was either black cop. He was the black cop that was gay. The gay black cop with the Mexican boyfriend or something like that. It was Walton Goggins. I think that's right, because Goggins is like a black guy name. I don't know. The problem with TV, I have not owned a TV for like 10 fucking years. You know what I mean? I haven't owned it. I don't own a TV. So I don't watch a whole lot of videos. Walter Goggin is Walter on The Shield. Tom Anderson, what are you talking about? He participates in a murder and then goes rogue. Or you're talking about the Justified show. I don't know what Justified is. He calls himself Cletus Van Dam. I don't know. Now you're losing me. This is deep. This is deep niche character actor television. Oh no, wait. So on The Shield, I don't remember that. I don't remember Walton Goggins. I don't remember a black cop participating in a murder, whatever. But there were some people that were on The Shield that were like minor characters that were like, for 2 or 3 episodes, and they played a bad guy. But they managed to flip it around. They became good guy cops on NBC shows. There was some pudgy black actor that made the transition from rapist, murderer, drug dealer to, middle class New York City detective on like an NBC show, on a network show, which is a lot more money. So, that's possible. June says a white cop. I don't know. I haven't watched The Shield in a long time. I remember liking a lot of it. The best premise about that show was that the cops are profoundly flawed. You know what I mean? They got their hand out there making money left and right. They're cutting deals, to make their life fucking easier. You know what I mean? And you think, well, they're bad cops. However, the people that they're up against are fucking monsters. And this is what the public doesn't understand. They're up against monsters. There's no sympathy for these fucking people. Like, the real fucking predators on the fucking street are not human. They're NHI. There's no humans involved. You know what I mean? It's not a creature you can fucking sympathize with. They're 24/7 predators. And that they occasionally get their fucking just desserts, this happens, and you can't go blaming the cops for that. You know what I mean? I mentioned this on Twitter, talk about cops. There was some Dindu shot 2 Spanish cops earlier, just in the early part of the month, right? One of them died immediately. The other one died only a couple of days ago. And Shaniqua, the head of the NYPD, I don't know what the fucking name is, but the black female they put in charge of NYPD gave a very odd statement. I was near a television and I saw it, and she's got like her hat off, and she says, we're angry, and we're hurting, and blah 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 blah, and we're going to do this and that. And I was like, what an odd statement, like, because they write those statements for them. You know what I mean? There's no way that this woman doesn't write her own press releases. And then I realized I don't know what percentage of NYPD is Latino, but I think it's very high because it's easier to get Latinos to the academy than it is to get blacks to the academy. And whether the Latinos are Puerto Ricans or Dominicans or whatever they are, there might be a lot of Dominicans. They're going to want revenge for this. You know what I mean? And there is no, they're at war with each other constantly, right? Except that the Spanish have the guns and the badges, and they will be shepherded into the right statements to make. But to be honest, and I tweeted this out, I expect it to be a bloodbath this summer in New York City. And I expect a lot of good boys to take the fucking room temperature challenge. You know what I mean? And the people who craft the narrative, you can't say the brown people are racist against the black people. The narrative crashes if you do that. So there's going to be a lot of fucking payback fucking meted out. A lot of fucking payback. And I don't think just in New York. I think it's going to be, again, as America becomes more Latinoized, more Spanish, just when you go to the supermarket and you see the cans of soup labeled in Spanish, it still says chicken noodle, but now it says pollo el nudelos, or whatever the fuck it says on the can. You know what I mean? They don't change the lettering like that, just for fun. They change it because the market conditions are changing, right? There's a new group of people that they want to sell the fucking soup to. And as they move into more and more government positions, it's going to be harder for the people behind the scenes, our small hat masters, to maintain their fucking narrative. It's going to be the pets that they have elevated with the George Floyd statues and all the rest. This may be it for them. You know what I mean? This may be like their fucking peak. And you know what? No one's going to cry. No one's going to cry. All right, the chat is having a deep conversation about TV. The first couple of seasons of Justified are the best ones, with the fat lady who is the matriarch of the crime family. Yes, she was great in that part. Rent Justified. Oh, I don't know. I'll go look for it. Is it like Redbox? Is it what it is? It's a series or it's a movie? It's a series. I have to go to like Netflix. Netflix is like pedo. Netflix supports pedo shit. I'm not gonna go. Not that I would do this. I would never do this. But are there any torrents, like BitTorrents? That Pirate Bay would justify, like Pirate Bay, if it's still up, I don't think it's still up. But Pirate Bay or these torrent file sharing sites would Justified be on there? I might have to look at that. Thomas Chittum would say that the labels changing to Spanish is a sign that we are one step closer to civil war. No, Spanish people like white people. And there's a lot of Castizos that are crazy white looking. I point out that Canelo Alvarez, I am darker than Canelo Alvarez. Like in every way. Canelo Alvarez is a fucking glass of milk with a fucking strawberry on top. He's Mexican. So, and he's their fucking hero, by the way, because he's middleweight champ of the world. And he is a great boxer. He's a phenomenal boxer. But Spanish people like white people. They don't. If you're a pussy, if you're spineless fucking nothing, they have no respect for you. But no one's ever going to have respect for you. But they like you. You know what I mean? If you have a spine, you tell it like it is. They may not love your fucking opinion, but they will have respect for you, and they are aspirational towards being the new white people. You know what I mean? Whereas, as opposed to blacks who basically are demanding Gibbs because they've been trained to do that, and a lot of them absolutely straight up fucking hate white people. A lot of them fucking, like they generally don't care for us, but a lot of there's a fair amount of that absolutely fucking hate white people. And the Spanish aren't like that. They just aren't like that. You know what I mean? If you look at all the Central American and South American countries, all their leaders are the whitest looking Spanish you've ever seen. So they're already accustomed to this kind of way of living. You know what I mean? So that's part of the people that, like the anti-Semitic right or whatever. But the other thing about being fucking right wing, Paul talks about this all the time. Listen, you don't want to be a right winger. A right winger is a fucking beggar, right? All the right wingers are beggars. Nobody funds anything right wing. Okay, there's no foundations that fund right wing thought or right wing anything. Right, everything right wing is fake. Right, you're begging for the left not to fucking destroy you. Hey, Virgil Doc Purple Heart. Good evening, sir. Welcome to the show. You've joined the show already in progress, sir. You missed the E-drama. You missed the Putin Bitcoin stuff. But nonetheless, we will welcome you to the niche TV character chat between Tom Anderson and June about specialty TV series. However, what I'm talking about is you don't want to be right wing, right? All right wingers are beggars, right? You're hoping that your aristocratic betters are gonna toss you a few fucking coins for repeating their fucking slogans or their fucking philosophies. Don't be that. Be better than that. You know what I mean? I've said this for the longest time. Be better than that. You want, like, if your identity is I'm a right wing person, it means you're begging. You're standing there on the side of the road with a sign that said, we'll articulate an ideology for fucking food. Have a set of skills. Have a position of fucking power to determine what goes on. When I talk about a Bitcoin world, that an entire world is going to be built off of Bitcoin, right? It's because you will say, I have this thing of fucking value, right? And why will I contribute it to your fucking cause versus your cause? And if someone says, we celebrate transgenders, woo, you take your Bitcoin elsewhere. You know what I mean? It's simple as that, right? You move to the environment that suits you to what you really believe in. You're not begging like, oh, I hope someday I get funding. I hope someone will defend me against these fucking communists and psychopaths that are funded by the central bankers. My political position is I fucking hate communists. I fucking hate them. If the law was different, my behavior towards them would be very different. But the law is the law and I obey the law. But I hate communists and I hate the central bankers that fund them. The communists are shock troops of the central bankers that terrify the fucking right wingers or whatever, right? The capitalists, the fucking economics guys into, getting shaken down and fucking and giving up their wealth to the communists who end up just transferring it to the fucking central bankers, right? The communists are the shock troops of the central bankers. I hate them and I hate the central bankers. And I want both of them destroyed. Right now, I want it done peacefully and legally. If the law changed, I would have different behaviors, right? If the law changes and different behaviors were legal, then I would behave in a different way. But Eeyore Manrick, what happened with Norvin? Did you talk about it earlier? Yes, I did talk about it earlier. Basically, Norvin is selling you out. Like Norvin works for Bateman, right? Bateman's a Fed. He's a former junkie from Staten Island who works for the federal government to fucking feed you as a domestic terrorist to whatever police agency is going to fucking lock your ass up. I made excuses for Norvin. I went over this earlier in the show. I called him out, on Twitter and on Gab, and I blocked him. He sends me a link to fucking Bateman's fucking show, and I'm like, and he didn't explain it was Bateman's show. Like, so I go on there. This was the other night. Again, I hate fucking repeating myself. I go on there. I'm like, I'm on my phone. I'm cooking. Blah 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 blah. Whatever. I think I'm on Norvin's show. I keep getting kicked off the stream. My mic gets muted. All this shit, and I'm like, fucking Norvin, why are you doing this to me? You know. Then I realized that I'm not on Norvin's show. I'm on fucking Bateman's show. So he works for Bateman, and Bateman is a junkie scumbag who works for the federal government. Okay. He used to live in Tottenville on Staten Island, which is where all the millionaires on Staten Island live. And he used to take the fucking 3-car fucking Staten Island Railroad up to the Stapleton projects and trade sex for money with Negroes. I know this is, how do I know this? Because I used to be a cab driver on Staten Island. And, you know, the Bateman gave all this shit up a while ago. Whatever. You want to be a Northern guy? Cheers. Cheers, dude. But, you know, there's the other thing, of course, is that Norvin, who says we were in the movement, we're in the white power movement, and we're going to create white Wakanda. You know, he's always loved about the white Wakanda, and there should be no Jews in the movement, no Jews in the movement, no Jews in the movement, right? And he's like, Brittany from Politically Provoked, get out of here. And then he's streaming with her. He's on the fucking, her channel all the time. She's in the fucking stream. And I'm sure he's going to say, well, I can't control it because it's Patrick Bateman's stream. You listen, in the real world, at IRL, you control who you associate with, right? You don't hang out with the homeless guy in the middle of the fucking city center, right? Who's living in a tent and shitting on the fucking sidewalk. You don't spend time with that guy. You walk past him as fast as you can on the sidewalk, or ride your bicycle, or drive your car past, or whatever the fuck. You control who you associate with in real life. And it's even easier here online. Don't like the channel? Click, go somewhere else. Don't like what somebody's saying? Click, go somewhere else. Unfollow, block, mute. It's so fucking easy. So when you have people like Richard Spencer did this, Norvin did this, oh, I can't help it. I didn't know. Geez, it's not my, listen, fuck you. You know what I mean? I'm not going on there because, you know, I know who and what you are. You think of the fucking 37 fucking times I bitch smacked fucking OV, the fucking pedophile, up and down the fucking internet, like every fucking time. Like, how many times did I do that? There's clips of me floating around doing that from fucking years ago. Who do you associate with? How do you fucking, how do you behave when these people are around? If you go, gee, I'm helpless. I'm Norvin the helpless. Get the fuck out of here. Richard Spencer did the same thing. Why are you on Politically Provoked? I'm just here to support Brittany. Fuck you, you lying piece of shit fucking fed. Tom Anderson. What's with these people doing gay shit for money and drugs? Listen, for people who have been violated, right? And they use drugs to fucking manage their life. When you can no longer con your parents out of money or steal money, you have to do something. You know what I mean? You need to get high to get escape from your life, right? At least you believe you do. And then you don't have any money to trade. So what do you trade? So what do you trade, right? So that's that. That's just the way it is. June, I feel slammed. We were having a nice time. I'm sorry you feel that way, June. But you know, you want to listen. You want to do free speech stuff. You want to say fuck slavery and fuck the Holocaust. You know, this is a channel for that. I'm a free speech guy, but if when the people who were supposedly the fucking edgy fucking rebels, right? They don't let you. They don't let people like me talk anymore. You know, you can like me and not like me, but I generate a shit ton of content, right? You know what I mean? You have me in the stream. I'm going, for me, there's a counter up here, a little red box that StreamYard shows you. I'm going for an hour and 41 fucking minutes. You know what I mean? With no fucking break. So you want to generate content. The chat hates you. The chat loves you. I spark the conversation, right? There's a conversation about the Shield and law enforcement and this actor and that actor, right? So everybody comes together in this little virtual club. We get to hang out. I'm having a couple of drinks. Maybe you are too. I don't know. You know what I mean? Maybe you listen to this at work or podcast, like a podcast style. You just stick your fucking earphones in your fucking ear and you listen to this a day from now or 2 days from now. It's usually like less than 24 hours, right? That's fine. You know what I mean? So you want to hear stuff that you can't normally hear, that's outside the realm of what the fucking normies are allowed to talk about. You know what I mean? You want to hear stuff that's explicitly forbidden by the people who fucking run the show. Well, then, okay, I'm for that. I don't always think it's, the fucking, listen, the 1488 shit is as dumb as shit gets, but whatever, if you legitimately think that stuff, whatever, I think you have the right to say it. You know what I mean? If, however, someone comes to your house and says, listen, Trad Dad, hey, feeding a baby, good for you. Congratulations on the new edition. Buy the baby $25 in Bitcoin, and by the time they hit 18, they will cast a bronze statue of you 14 feet high and say, that was my father. And they'll still have Bitcoin left over. June just took a lurching turn into the sordid. I don't know. That's the nature of this, right? Listen, June, OV had a meltdown on Politically Provoked and admitted to grooming a 13-year-old boy, right? All of these extremists, right? All these extremists who repeat the same shit over and over and over, like OV, the Nazi stuff, whatever. They're all pedos. It's like, do you want a communist raping your child or do you want a fucking Nazi raping your child? It's the same fucking thing, right? If you're really a free speech guy, you really want to say stuff that, listen, this is outside the realm of what's acceptable, but blah, blah, blah. You know what? Come into my little electronic clubhouse and, like a speakeasy or whatever. And we'll say what we want to say, right? That's fine. But if the conversation keeps getting driven in one direction and driven in one direction and driven in one direction, you have to wonder, like why, like what's going on? I have publicly stated, I believe Bitcoin will replace the Federal Reserve note as the world's currency. Period. End of story. And this show is just 20 ways of me showing the same thing from different news articles and shit that pop up on Twitter or whatever, because I'm on Twitter all the time, my main platform. But I have been attacked by the fucking NSA more than fucking once. I was at fucking Charlottesville. I fucking walked the fucking walk. I'm not asking you for fucking anything. You know what I mean? You want to be here? Great. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Have a drink. Sit down. You know what I mean? But if, I present my worldview, hopefully in a compelling way, and hopefully you see the value of it, or maybe you don't, or maybe you just think it's funny and you're like, hey, let's watch this crazy guy rant some bullshit, while he gets drunk on the internet. That's cool too. But, that these people are trying to, cast themselves and attract you into like the enemies of the United States, right? The literal enemies of America. You know what I mean? You have to question, why is that? What I'm talking about is owning a legal piece of property, digital property, Bitcoin. And I believe this has a unique power to transform the world. And I make that argument. Okay. I make it poorly, or I make it well, I make it in an articulate fashion, or maybe I'm funny, or maybe I'm pedantic, or whatever, or maybe I'm banal, but that's what I do. And I don't pretend to do anything else. I'm not DMing a shit ton of people. I'm not fucking doing 35 fucking things during the fucking show. I just sit here, I fucking monologue, you know what I mean? And I have a drink. Sometimes I get fucking wasted. Sometimes I make myself look like a fucking asshole. I've done that on more than one occasion. You know why? Because I'm a real fucking dude. I'm a real fucking guy, right? I'm not fucking pretending to fucking worship Adolf Hitler or some dumb fucking shit. Talk about the Yamnaya people, the Yamnaya people invented the wheel and fire, and they came out of Hyperborea across the frozen steppe, and sparked the fucking the civilization of Egypt and Greece and Rome and Babylonia. They did all of this, except they created all these advanced civilizations everywhere except the place where they were from, Hyperborea. Yeah, okay. You know what I mean? It's like, but listen, if you want to live in that fantasy world, that's great. Like, that's fine. You know what I mean? But understand, you're going to come on the internet, and the internet's a little bit blood sports. You're going to get, you're going to digitally, metaphorically, get punched in the nose. You know what I mean? You're going to have to take the fucking hit, because when you start with the Yamnaya, 7,000, 10,000 years ago, we invented the wheel and we domesticated horses or whatever the fuck. Like, it's a fun narrative, but it's a narrative for these like upper middle class white kids, right? Whom everything has been done for them. Their parents did everything. Like the Yamnaya created the civilization. Their grandparents and their parents put them in this upper middle class neighborhood, 95% white zip code. You know what I mean? And they're afraid that their 95% white zip code might shrink to like a 90% white zip code. And this terrifies them. That's really what it is. You know what I mean? That's what drives all this shit. And they don't have to get a job. They don't have to do anything because it's all been done for them. You know what I mean? People like me, I assure you, I had a less than perfect family. You know what I mean? And I myself, you might find this shocking, I myself am a less than perfect individual. All right? And I've had to produce things of fucking value to keep a roof over my head and food in my belly for decades. And I've done that successfully, right? So for anyone that's in my position, listen, I'm not a dumb guy. I've seen a lot of stuff, and I've talked to a lot of people, and I've listened to a lot of people. And it isn't just that God gave me the special argument gene to beat you. You know what I mean? My thinking is clearer than yours for a reason, because it has to be. I don't listen. If I was living in I was talking to fucking Ziggy the Pollock. Ziggy the Pollock is a real person, even though on this show he's a fictional Pollock who's like this fucking, he's huge. He's a boomer and he's a Pollock. And I said, God hates him twice because he made him both a boomer and a Pollock. I said it to him in a room full of people, and people were like, what the fuck? And I was like, Jesus Christ, that was so funny. I wish everyone would have got it, but it was a room full of people who didn't get it. Anyway, but I talked to Ziggy. Ziggy wants to talk to me all the time. You know what I mean? And even Ziggy the Pollock, the boomer, and boomers think they know everything and they don't know shit. He still takes my phone calls. He'll still stop, and then we'll meet each other in the parking lot around the different airports or whatever. You know what I mean? And he's got to come talk to me, whatever. He saw this or that, or he wants to hear what I have to say. I was on the phone with him, and he's like, I'm making shrimp and scallops for my wife, and he's sending me pictures of food and shit. I'm like, what are you, a Mediterranean Pollock or something with the fucking food shit? But here's the thing. You know what? He likes free speech as well. He wants to fucking, there's an exciting element of you can say whatever you want to say, right? And there's no speech codes here. I'm driving the conversation towards Bitcoin. Duh. That's unabashedly 100% what I do. I don't pretend I'm doing anything else. I think you should do it, but you don't have to do it. You could do whatever you want. Like I said, stack up gold coins. I don't know, beef tallow candles. I don't know what you think you're going to do. Hang on to your green Zog bucks and hope they go up in value. But I say the people that control the Federal Reserve Bank of America, which is not federal and has no fucking reserves, right, are evil and insane, and they're going to drive the world into global Weimar conditions. And that if you can see this, you can begin to take steps to protect yourself and those you care about. I think that that's important. You know what I mean? And listen, it's not going to happen tomorrow, but in the meantime, let's have a fucking few laughs. Let's have some fucking drinks. You know what I mean? And that's that. And let's fucking hang out, right? It's a virtual 21st century speakeasy. That's what I think is fun to do. And apparently 49 other human beings on a planet of 7 billion agree with me. Although I think 43 of them are bots. I think they're I think they're bots. Tried that. We've survived the drive for centuries. Being involved in community is all it takes. Yeah, it does. I mean, listen, the people who think like us, that are willing to at least entertain thoughts that are wrong think, right? Uh, Everybody knows you're isolated. Like there aren't a whole lot of people IRL who view the world you do, who see the things you do, who notice that, whatever, who notice that the small hats always seem to be in positions of power, that all of the terrible, that Hollywood is run by not white people, but fellow whites. You notice that, nobody else notices that. And you feel like, oh, shit, can I even talk to anybody? Like, does anybody even think what I think? So you could come here, you find your way here, and you go, holy shit, look who's in the chat. You know what I mean? And they think the same stuff I think. They get the same references, the same jokes, the same, and then James talks like a fucking whack job and gets drunk. And, it's whatever. It's a party, but at the end of it, you go, you know what? Okay, I'm not the only one who thinks this. And that's a big plus. Tom Anderson, Kurt Doolittle has a bot farm. I don't know. He used to work at Pentagon. His girlfriend, he had a girlfriend from North Carolina who used to DM me on Twitter. She used to tell me, she said Kurt Doolittle is like, what'd you say it was, a trend humper or something? What the fuck did she call him? A bandwagon jumper or something like that. Once Pentagon Intel, the federal government turned its attention towards domestic terrorism, right? And finding domestic terrorists, and Kurt Doolittle, that was like the video on my old channel. That video got like 6,000 views. That was like, I think the video that got the most views, but I put a clickbait title. The title I put was like, the truth about Kurt Doolittle, because everybody wants to know the truth. Everyone knows there's that unspoken acknowledgement that everyone's bullshitting you at all times. Like, everyone's bullshitting you all the time. So the truth about blank is such a hook, to get people to watch a video, or blankety blank exposed, that people are like, well, I guess the exposed aspect is a voyeuristic thing, but the truth about X, whatever X is attracts people. They're like, okay, let's see. People will click on it and go, all right, let's see if you're telling the truth or you're not telling the truth, right? And then you could theoretically get a following from that. But I don't want a big following, because what does that do for me? You know what I mean? It gives me headaches on my fucking job, and in a chat that's out of control. I don't even have real internet. I'm running this show off an Android 10 phone. You know what I mean? I'm not making that much of an effort. But to anyone for whom hears what I have to say and thinks, you know what, this guy's not completely retarded, and maybe some of this could work for me, good for you. Trad Dad in the chat. I enjoy fighting them face to face in local politics. Can usually found leading up to councils and for vote redistricting and NGO equality enforcement. Yeah, listen, there's lots of ways to do this. There's tons of ways to do this. And that was, when the alt-right was a thing in 2016, it was a real wide group of people that were generally anti-communist, generally anti-left. You know what I mean? There were Christian people and religious people, and there were political people and economic people and just cultural critics and all that sort of thing. And there was a sense like, holy crap, this fucking TV star just became president. Maybe, you know what I mean? But let's face it, Trump is the fucking white Obama. You know what I mean? Obama had such an enormous hold over blacks in America. Like, he could do no wrong, even though nothing changed for them. And they were still in the ghetto getting shot, raped, fucking robbed by their fucking neighbors. They're like, yeah, it's great, Obama. And same thing is true for Trump with white people. You know what I mean? It's just white people are a larger group numerically, you know what I mean? Percentage-wise of the American population than than blacks were for Obama, but blacks plus white liberals. Yeah, listen, that different people are going to do different things. If you can, and I'm guessing you're not screaming, Trad Dad. I'm guessing you're not going off about the small hats in NGOs and that equality is a lie. I'm sure like all these memes and stuff that we would know and talk about, you can't say, right? You have to go into the local city council and say, I oppose this for this and that. What your private views are your private views, right? Maybe you can express here, but you're not going to go screaming like a loon. At least I hope not in your local city council meetings. Trad Dad in the chat. Let go of national level. Find local representatives, MO, and apply constant pressure as a coalition. Yeah, to the degree that you can do that. Like I said, my vision of the future is everything falls apart because the money stops working. And what is durable will survive into the next world, but a lot of the stuff is going to get burned up and not come back. But the future will look something like America. It will be legal. It will be based on the Constitution. And anything that's you build community-wise will be built off of Bitcoin. And it must conform to what is legal. That's the only way this can happen. It's the only way it's going to happen. But you'll live in a community and again, I don't know if you saw this, but I'll just briefly run over it. There will be corporate communities or citadels. Bitcoin people say citadels. But there'll be a corporate community where you put up X amount of Bitcoin to join, right? You put it in a giant multi-signature wallet, a multi-sig wallet, and there'll be a list of fucking things you have to fucking live by, and you're going to live by them, all right? And if you break the rules, you will lose Bitcoin. You will lose money immediately like this, and it will go to your neighbors, right? And if you can propose any rule change you want, you can propose, right? Everybody eats matzah on Saturday, okay? But you propose a rule change and it does not receive 100% consensus, you lose fucking money. Your Bitcoin, bing, again, goes to your fucking neighbors. So this creates a stability and an authoritarianism that locks shit down. So no minority can come in, and I don't give a fuck what minority it is, can come in and manipulate the larger group because consensus requires 100%. It might be less, maybe it'll only be 95% or whatever. You'll decide. But a 100% consensus community means you come up with a stupid fucking idea and we don't like it, you lose money and nothing happens. Who wouldn't want to live that way? Who wouldn't want to live that way? No more condo boards run by Mrs. fucking Lipschitz or fucking Joey Greenblatt. It's not going to happen like that. Okay. So that's what I believe is going to be the future of communities. There'll be corporate communities. It will be as fucking super intrusive and 5G. Remember when 5G used to be fucking what people were afraid of? Like, oh my God, I got a 5G phone that's going to fry my brain. Yeah, pre-COVID, that was. You remember that? So think about that. Think about living that way, right? You live in a community where everyone agrees to the rules. And if you break the rules, you immediately lose money from that Bitcoin multi-sig wallet. The only reason why you're allowed in that specific space is because a corporation bought that property. Corporation bought that property with Bitcoin, right? Tom Anderson, once again, your failure of imagination is on display. The government will allow it because there will be no fucking government to fucking stop it. The government runs on US dollars. And when the US dollar is worthless and powerless, there is no US government. You cannot imagine a world where the government doesn't have endless money and resources. I'm trying to suggest to you that there is a possibility that the government will not have unlimited power and resources because they won't have the fucking money. You fail to comprehend the concept. The government won't have the fucking power to intervene. It will be so fucking limited because projecting power costs money and they won't have the money to do it. Trad Dad, why would the state and Fed ever let go of Globo Shlomo Homo? Because the money's worth toilet paper. It's going to be worthless. It's going to be worth nothing. Green Zog bucks that won't buy you food or housing or medicine or clothing for your children. And people will turn to something else. Now, between that day and this day, going to be a lot of tribulation. Tread that. I will buy in if your vision comes to fruition. It very likely will. Hopefully, I will live to see it. And the point of this show and me telling you to trade your Zogbucks for Bitcoin is so you do it when it's advantageous to you. It is inevitable that all these corrupt fiat currencies will run to zero. This is inevitable. Human nature never corrects itself. No one, Mao Zedong, again, Putin, fill in the blanks, man. They're not going to wake up tomorrow and go, oh my God, I'm doing the wrong thing. I better fight back. They're not going to do that. This is your fantasy. Like, who's that kid? Fucking Bernard Brightson. Oh, we could have a king who will be a virtuous king. We will have a monarch, and the monarch will be a nationalist. This fucking idiot. It's never happened. And like literally in the history of monarchy, it never happened. When I fuck with people, you think you're fucking smart, and I ask you, how did democracy slay every other form of government or human governance on the face of this earth? How did that happen? Do you think it's like they just got lucky? Do you think democracy as a form of governance just got lucky again and again and again and again and again and again? Or is it a superior form of governance? And you cry like bitches, oh, fuck you, gay pride parades, fuck you. Listen to me. I don't give a shit how much you cry. Why does democracy rule the earth? Why has democracy slain every other form of human governance on this fucking planet? That's a question you never been like, oh, your college professors didn't fucking pose that question to you. There's no book this fucking thick you can read that's going to tell you, oh, I got the answer. I learned that in college. This is fucking real world. Why? 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 I ask you fucking why. If I was up, if we were face to face, I'd fucking bang your head against the wall and make you fucking answer. Mob rule. Why can't the king defeat the mob? Why can't the king defeat the mob? Why can't the king get control of the mob? I love all you democracy critics. I asked you a question. You can't answer the question directly. Why did it win? If it's inferior, if all your criticisms are legit criticisms, why did it win? Why did it win? Answer, listen to the question. Listen, use your fucking ears. Listen to the question. Why did it win? June, who says he can't? Who, the king? In theory, they could, but they never do. There's only like, I don't know, all of human history to prove that it's never been done. But you think, no, this time there'll be a new king and he'll be squeaky clean, perfect. And he'll wake up every day and he'll fill the potholes in the fucking roads in the kingdom. And if he sees a hungry person, he'll give him a sandwich. Get the fuck out of here. It's a fair question, and none of you have ever answered it. It's a fair question. As a form of human governance, why does democracy rule the earth? That's a fair question. It's a philosophical question, probably, to be honest, beyond most of you, because you won't examine your own ideas and you won't examine why you love this idea and why you hate that idea. You won't do it. You need to do that. You need to understand, why do I love this and hate that? You don't even understand. You just feel your way through things. I love this. I hate that. Yeah, that's good. That's nice. It's a fair question. Why did democracy slay every other form of governance on the face of the earth? You don't have a fucking answer. And you're not going to have an answer because you haven't done the work. I will answer it for you. It is a superior form of human governance. I didn't say it was perfect. I said it was superior to all other forms. Until Bitcoin. Because what democracy is decentralized problem solving. Governance, governing, is solving problems. That's what it really is. And a decentralized, a multi-pronged approach to solving problems solves more problems more efficiently than a centralized form of problem solving, which is monarchy or any sort of authoritarianism. It's that fucking simple. However, the flaw is always financial. And this was found, Aristotle made this fucking argument in 350 BC. Democracy turns into oligarchy, which turns into tyranny. Oligarchy is rule of the rich. It has to do with the money. As your dollars, as your gold, your magical gold coins that you think we're going to return to, which we're not going to return to, go into the treasury, somebody starts fucking around with that money. The money is in a central place and the government controls it and you get fucked. However, and this is why Bitcoin is the most important fucking invention in the history of human inventions. It's decentralized money that's going to meet decentralized governance. It's not going to be democracy and it's not going to be communism. It's going to be something else, kind of like what I described. But you can't wrap your head around it. You're too afraid to fucking imagine it. And that's not my problem. That's your problem. Not a king, but a Führer. Yeah, Tom Anderson. Go. You should go see what's your buddies over at the FBI with fucking, what's his name? Norman Hobbs. You know? All your fantasies are like, your fantasies are different from your college professor's fantasies. Doesn't get better. It just means that you're just as out of touch as your college professor. Something fascist still has a central treasury and didn't last. Why did it fail? Ask yourself, why did it fail? When it was challenged, why did it fail? Because it was weak and unable to meet the challenge. Period. End of fucking story. It was weak and unable to meet the challenge. That's what history is fucking written. I don't give a fuck which version of history you want to write, but you're living in a planet ruled by democracy, like it or not. And obviously you don't like it, but you don't like it with air conditioning, and you don't like it with a full belly, and you don't like it, with a car, and you don't like it with tons of different clothing and 10 fucking pairs of shoes. You're oh my God, this is so terrible. I wish it would end. Ever use a toothbrush? I bet some of you have. That was invented in America, which is a democracy. Can you imagine not having a toothbrush? All the kings, all the authoritarians, they never fucking thought, oh, let's invent a simple device so that people can keep their fucking teeth in their heads for the rest of their life. That was invented in democracy, not in monarchy or authoritarianism. If you had to live without the fruits of democracy, you'd fucking kill yourself. Well, you probably wouldn't live to the end of the week, but you'd kill yourself. The future is going to be very different. Like I said, it's kind of like what I described. I think my description is pretty good. You know what I mean? As much as you can describe something that hasn't happened yet. But Jules Verne did a good job with his 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, describing submarines, not really the way real nuclear submarines are, but his fictional story matched what nuclear submarines really do. And Jules Verne's From Earth to the Moon, you know what? Matched with the hoax that the hoax that NASA did, but close enough. You know what I mean? Close enough. So if you have a good imagination and you restrain the correct parts of it, I think you can get a good sense of it. And I think I do have a good sense of it. And this show is all about showing that to you week after week. Why is the suicide, Tom Anderson, why is the suicide rate higher in nations that have the highest standard of living than standards that have a low standard of living? Well, what difference does it make? Yeah, June, round and round. I already went over the oligarchy. I already went over the central fucking public treasury. I already went over that. You know, I know you skipped over that part, but that's the critical part. Even corrupted democracy beats everything else. Suicide rate higher. Listen, what's the difference if you die by suicide or homicide? Like, you die by suicide, homicide, or fucking poisoned water, you're still dead, right? So what percentage of people is dying from what? You know what I mean? It means that material largesse is not enough to sustain a man. Man cannot live on bread alone. That may be true, but man cannot live without bread. See, there's the rule of threes. It's called the rule of threes. 3 minutes without air, 3 days without water, or 3 weeks without food and you die. It's called the rule of threes. So it may be that man cannot live by bread alone, but man cannot live without bread or some other substitute. Particularly, I'm pro carbs, by the way. I'm not one of those keto people, fucking keto cultists. Democide, more likely. Are we in a declining oligarchy? Christ, on a mini bike. Aristotle said, democracy goes from democracy to oligarchy to tyranny and then resets again. The way that this happens is the wealthy people concentrate the wealth and power for themselves and they lock everyone else out. That's oligarchy, ruled by the rich. And then that narrows further down into tyranny. And then the tyranny has to be overthrown. And it will eventually be overthrown either internally or externally. Okay. Even, like I said, even corrupted democracy. The reason why Bitcoin is the most important invention in all of human history is because it is decentralized money. It is decentralized money. Bitcoin goes one way, from me to you. It can't come back, right? So you have to perform some service that I want or provide some goods that I want in order to receive this. And Bitcoin cannot be counterfeited. All fiat currencies, stocks, bonds, etc., can be counterfeited. From, you were talking about the good old days. Oh my God, the good old days, way back when. In the Middle Ages, the alchemists tried to turn lead into gold, right? They tried to take something that has no value and make it have value. Counterfeit. To counterfeit, the world is run by counterfeiters. When you print $1 trillion in stimulus, $2 trillion in stimulus, when you borrow money against future tax receipts, and pump up stock prices, housing prices, other fucking asset prices. That's counterfeit. You created wealth out of nothing. That's fake. That's counterfeit. And you can always print more money or more shares of stock, right? But Bitcoin is limited and specifically limited. This is why it is so profoundly different, and it will never be more than 21 million. You don't understand. You want to think you understand, but you don't understand. June, are we starting into tyranny now? Been in tyranny since the Federal Reserve took over the fucking US dollar in 1913. Woodrow Wilson campaigned in fucking 1916 on keeping us out of fucking World War One. As soon as he got fucking elected, boom. Not only did he send American troops to Europe, but he put them under the command of a French general who used them for fucking cannon fodder. All of America's aggressive wars outside our the continental United States started after the Federal Reserve took over the fucking money supply. June, I try to have only fruits in the morning, no fats, at least till noon. However you manage your calories, you manage your calories. You know what I mean? Eat too many calories, you'll get fat. Eat not enough calories, and you will starve to death. But Tom Anderson won't count that as a real suicide because you didn't kill yourself. You just didn't chew hard enough or something like that. Tom Anderson put Louis Brandeis on the Supreme Court. Yeah, let's see. He did everything he was told to do. The whole thing about World War I and World War II. World War I was Germany's expansion eastwards, trying to get more land and fucking resources. That's all it was. World War II was an extension of that. But more importantly, what the National Socialists did is they came up with a new monetary system. That's the part you guys always forget, and that's the most important part. The new monetary system that the National Socialists implemented was a threat to the central banking system that already existed. And so that threat had to be destroyed. Muammar Gaddafi, right, threatened the central banking system with a gold-backed Libyan dinar. Saddam Hussein threatened the US dollar system by saying he was going to trade oil for euros. It's easy to kill Gaddafi. It's easy to kill Saddam Hussein. I mean, relatively easy. I mean, it's a big military buildup, and you got to send this shit ton of guys around the world, but it doesn't make a difference. That could be done because those systems, like the National Socialist system, was based on an individual. Human beings can be shot and killed. They can be tossed off of fucking buildings. They can be starved to death. They can be suicided, right? But Bitcoin is not a human being. It's not one individual. You can't shoot Bitcoin. You can't blow up the building that it's in. You do not understand. They have no weapon to destroy Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is the perfect weapon to destroy them. Perfect. They can't seize it. It can travel around the world in fucking minutes. No one can fucking stop it. You don't understand how important this is, but you will. Eventually, you will. What's going on? June, I'm too innocent on the JQ. Maybe. Hence AA's boomer truth regime. Who's AA? Oh, academic agent? That guy? I don't follow him. I don't pay attention. These guys, way too boring. Way too boring for me. If you're not talking about money, you're not talking about anything, right? If you think I wake up in the morning because I love democracy, you know what I mean? Oh boy, I can't wait to fucking participate in democracy. I don't fucking wake up in the morning and drive boxes from fucking New Jersey to Baltimore because I love democracy. I do it because it pays me fucking money that I use to keep a roof over my head and buy bottles of grape juice. right? That's why. But I see the world I live in, and I understand part of how it works. You know what I mean? And if you're not talking about money, why would I want to do anything you want? Why would I do anything you want me to do? Because I love authoritarianism. I love monarchy. Yeah. Listen, when your wife says, I'm starving, the kids are fucking cold and hungry, uh, you know, how about you have that king give you some fucking food and you're like, well, economics, that's fucking very lowbrow topic. that's beneath our fucking divine king. The weakness of all right wingers, because all right wingers are beggars. You all homeless fucking beggars living in the fucking sidewalk, right? With your little cardboard signs on the side of the road. I'd drive past you, I'd laugh. There's no economic component to your worldview, which is why you will lose. Everyone will turn away from you because everyone has a wife to feed, kids to feed, grandma, etc., etc. They want to keep a roof over their head. And you don't have an answer for that. You have no fucking answer. You're afraid of the fucking conversation. You're terrified of the conversation. You're shit scared. And that doesn't attract a whole lot of fucking a whole lot of fucking heroic action. People know you're scared. Talk about economics or get fucked. Okay. Now the Jews, the left, the fucking whatever, they lie to you, right? They lie. Oh, we're going to give you land. We're going to give you peace. We're going to give you bread, blah, 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 blah. And at least they fucking suck you in far enough. And these days they will give a few shabos, just enough to keep the suckers fucking moving forward, right? But the right does no such thing, which is why you will lose forever. I'm not a right-wing person. I'm a Bitcoiner, okay? I believe in money that never loses value. I believe in being low time preference, right? And I believe in money that cannot be counterfeited. You don't understand the power of these concepts because you're thinking about, I don't know what you're thinking about. But if you sit with these ideas for a little while, you might see that they have value. Or, again, go talk to Jerome Powell and fucking Janet Yellen and all the small hats who run the Federal Reserve. And if you promise to kill the enemies of Israel, who knows? They might give you a big bag of fucking fiat. Tom Anderson. Everything other than Bitcoin is a scam. With specificity, Ethereum is a scam that JP Morgan was involved with. Vitalik Buterin is a child molester. I've already shown that stuff on this fucking on this channel. Vitalik Buterin says, simple possession of of sexual child photos is not as bad as heroin or some shit like that. Everything except Bitcoin is a scam. I cannot make that clearer than I've made that. That is 100% clear. Yeah, Dogecoin. You know who got fucking, what's his name? Josh Neal got fucking rug pulled on fucking Dogecoin. When you believe something comes from nothing, right? I love this fucking Aristotle versus Plato thing. Plato said something comes from nothing. All things in this world come from the forms, these idealized things no one's ever seen or touched. But they come into our mind, and then even though our mind interprets them poorly, there's the form of a chair that our mind interprets, and then you create one out of less than perfect materials, and that's a chair. Okay? Aristotle said, fuck that shit. If I can't touch it, if it's not fucking real, it don't fucking exist. Plato versus Aristotle. I am Aristotelian or Aristotelian. How the fuck do you say it? Whatever. I'm an Aristotle guy. I'm not a Plato guy. Something must always come from something. Bitcoin comes from an enormous amount of fucking energy poured into solving problems. Enormous amount of electrical energy. Okay. All these other cryptos, Ethereum, Dogecoin, fill in the blank, whatever the fuck it is, come from what? From nothing. From venture capitalists who said, oh no, this is better than Bitcoin. It's faster. It's privacy. It's this, it's that. Yeah, everything's better than Bitcoin. You know what I mean? Except you can't verify the network. No nation state has adopted it, right? No state in the United States has proposed that Ethereum become fucking legal tender. Why is that? Why does the IRS recognize Bitcoin as digital property and everything else as a security, like a stock or a bond or some fucking convertible debenture? Simple questions you don't fucking ask yourself. What happened to Josh? I murdered him on this channel. But I think, and I did it in front of him. He was in the chat, but I don't think he listened to the whole stream. Josh Neal, who I liked, I had was kindly. I thought kindly of him, but he did a Twitter Spaces. I'm gonna fucking again more with the gossip. Jesus fucking Christ. He did a Twitter Spaces, which he does sometimes, and he had Richard Spencer on, right? With him and Spencer are personal friends or something like that. And Spencer comes on and just Bigfoots the whole fucking thing, just boom. He's like, listen, hate to take over your space, but blah blah blah. January 6th, insurrection, blah 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 blah. And I was listening to this on my phone while I was driving somewhere, and I was like, fuck that shit. I ain't listening to this no more. I don't listen to Richard Spencer. So I jumped out, and then the space kept going for some length of time. You see it on your phone, top of your phone. And I jumped back in, and Spencer was gone, right? So Spencer's gone, and Josh Neal is talking with the guy. What the fuck is his name? Oh, Jesus Christ. Jennings. What the fuck is the guy's name? Somebody, whatever. He's a movement guy. And they're chatting about whatever. And then they're crying that there's no right-wing leadership, that all the right-wing leadership is fake and gay, whatever. And I'm like, you just had Richard Spencer on. And you're saying, where's the leadership? Like, you cannot possibly be that fucking unaware. But he's a millennial and they're shockingly unaware. So then they let some people ask questions. And I'm like, and so this dude asks a question who's like, I don't know what the guy really looks like, but I imagine he looks like fucking Casper Milquetoast. And they talked about part of the space was about January 6th. And the guy says to Josh Neal, he says, on January 6th, a bunch of QAnon normies stormed the Capitol, and where was the alt-right? Where was whatever? And fucking Josh Neal reacts poorly to this. Oh, wow, because we got little dicks because, we didn't do anything on January 6th and blah, 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 blah. Like, he really reacted badly. He actually said little dicks, which is a really bad fucking thing. Like, that criticism of me, like, you people criticizing me and my friend Democracy in the chat, that actually doesn't make my sex organs shrink. That, believe it or not, they're the same size they've been since I'm fucking 18 years old. Hasn't changed. You know what I mean? Your criticism of me, my ideas, my rhetoric, whatever, does not actually shrink or expand the size of my sex organs. This has nothing to do with my sex organs. But so Josh Neal, I was like, oh, fuck, no, he didn't just go there. And then he kicks it over to, what the fuck, the guy's name, Jordan Lee, whatever, I can't remember what the fuck his name was. The guy, if you follow Neal on Twitter, they'll do a Spaces thing eventually together. And this guy's like, movement guy, movement, blah, 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 blah. And so what is it? The guy says, like, I'm happy that no one I know went to prison on January 6th. I'm happy that no one I know, IRL, went to prison on January 6th. And I'm like, okay. So I'm like, what the fuck? Now the questioner, who's like, now he's still on. He still has the mic and the Spaces call. He says, no, that's not what I meant. He said, I just think that the January 6th people are conservative boomers versus the communist boomers, and January 6th was a civil war between the boomers that the alt-right should pull back from and let them fight each other, destroy each other, and then move in. And I'm like, holy shit. Like that. And I'm giving a fairly, I'm giving it quick and dirty, but this is very close to what was actually said. And I'm like, I'm listening to this. I'm like, holy shit, that could not have gone worse for them. It literally could not have gone worse for them. And in the typical, we're going to pretend this didn't happen and we have zero self-awareness way, I was like, what the fuck? How did they end it up? I don't recall how they ended up. This was like 6 fucking weeks ago, and I was listening to it while I was driving in the car. And I'm like, listen, you got it all wrong, right? The guy questioning you was not like, listen, you fake ass non-leaders. He was a simp. You know what I mean? He was pro alt-right or whatever. And Neil got it all wrong. His buddy on the Spaces call got it all wrong. You know what I mean? And even when the guy said, no, I think it's a civil war between the boomers, like they didn't have the self-awareness to go, oh shit, oh fuck. Listen, guys, I'm fucking sorry, bro. I got this all wrong. I fucked it up. Shit, Jesus. I thought you were going in a whole different direction with that. They didn't do that. You know, they just go, whoop, it doesn't exist. Pretend it doesn't exist. That's your fucking leadership. And of course, again, they never talk about economics. They never say word one about economics. Why the fuck should I get out of bed for you and deliver a box from point A to point B for the alt-right as opposed to whatever fucking small hat conglomerate owns the company I work for? You're not having that conversation. That's why no one likes you. That's why no one listens to you. It's not a grand conspiracy. It's because you suck and you're chicken shit when it comes to talking about real human motivation. That's why. That's 100% why. It's not mind control. It's not laser beams and microwaves being pushed through your fucking bedroom window into your skull. It's because you're stupid and weak and you won't talk about what really incentivizes human behavior. That's why. That's fucking why. Spencer will probably be crowned king on January 6th. Spencer makes most of his money feeding you to the FBI, right? I don't know. I don't follow him on Twitter, but I know he's on Twitter. And of course he's on Twitter. He's got to be on a big platform. And I guarantee his DMs are open and people DM him shit like whatever they fucking DM him. And he feeds that to a database that ends up putting people in prison. And Spencer gets, like everybody else, like Norvin Hobbs, like everyone else on the domestic terrorist fucking venture capital fucking thing, $100,000 to $250,000 per person for everyone he feeds you. So I'm guessing Spencer's made a lot of money taking emotionally damaged people who don't understand things real well, who have admitted and professed whatever, like all sorts of loyalty to him and what they think he stands for. They got fed to fucking law enforcement and the FBI is making cases off that. And Richard Spencer gets a 6-figure payday for each and every one of them. For each and every one of them. I guarantee that because that's human incentive. When I started this stream, I talked about Norvin and E-drama. Norvin tried to feed me to these fucking guys. Listen, nobody's better than their incentives. No human being is better than their incentives. You need to look squarely at the incentives, okay, and understand that. If you can't do that, then you're whatever. Good luck to you. Good luck and God bless. Good luck and God bless. Right? But Spencer, Brittany from Politically Provoked, Norvin, Bateman, they're all fucking together. They're all together. It's the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey circus of fucking Fed entrapment, and you can't see it. Okay, whatever, bro. Good luck. Cheers. Fucking cheers. In the meantime, I'm going to deliver boxes from point A to fucking point B, right? And then I'm going to take whatever extra money I have and buy fucking Bitcoin. And I'm going to drive past you and your fucking little shitty fucking cardboard sign. We'll repeat ideological slogans for food. Fuck you. Who will become the new leader of the alt-right? You, Tom Anderson. You will be the new leader. Anyway, look at this. 2 hours, 37 fucking minutes. 2 hours and 37 minutes. I didn't even drink the whole bottle. There's still a little bit more in here. Anyway, listen, guys, I'm like, at this point, I'm raving like a fucking lunatic. So let's call stream. Let's call stream at 2 hours, 2 fucking hours and 37 minutes. Jesus Christ, I can't even take myself this long. All right. You got your e-drama. You got your fucking geopolitical. You got your fucking philosophy. You got your pictures of old Roman coins. You got Richard Spencer bashing. What more could you ask for in a live stream? Really? Come on, brah. Anyway. Oh, yeah. I got to come up with a new. I don't know if this. June, we kept you irritated, though. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. I'm going to think of like a new sign off. Instead of saying like, see you next week, what if I say class dismissed? Because everybody's like a wannabe school teacher. What if I was like, class dismissed? You know what I mean? It's like arrogant and stupid, but we'll try it. We'll see if it works. If it goes to shit, whatever, I'll change it. But good night, everybody. Thanks for showing up. Class dismissed. And I'll talk to you guys again next week.